All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the man who taught me this truth. I would like to say shalom to you, Akim, and Yufi Akwath, you men, women, and little ones that believe on the words of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. It's your brother Michael Allah coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah, Lord willing to edify. And the title of this lesson is simply, more job cuts, more job cuts. And the inspiration of this video basically came from, a conversation, that was had by, some of my coworkers at work. And they really was having a conversation about, how a lot of these different jobs, and organizations are, beginning to experience, layoffs. Even where I'm at, they're talking about, laying off, certain departments, you see. And basically, Jake is, tripping and bugging out about these things because, they don't have an understanding as of what's going on, or really they don't have the solution to the problem because, this is basically their end all be all is this system, But when I heard it, it was exciting as hell, and immediately, Spirit gave me this title, and, here we are doing a lesson about it through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah. But, I got an article right here. It's from Business Insiders, and this was posted February 17th, 2026. It says companies laying off staff this year includes Amazon, Citi, and Pinterest. It says companies such as Target, Amazon, and Citi have said they're trimming staff this year. Pinterest, for one, cited AI as a factor in its decision to shed less than 15% of its workforce. You see? And now that's something Jake was also covering, in the conversation, was basically how AI is taking over all these jobs, which that's becoming common knowledge. But, it's one thing to, hear these things, but now we're in a season where we're beginning to experience these things. You see, now is, coming close to hitting home, And let's go right here. Jumping down, it says, a World Economic Forum survey last year found that some 41% of companies worldwide expected to reduce their workforces in the next 5 years because of the rise of artificial intelligence, AI. The survey also found that jobs in big data, fintech, and AI are expected to double by 2030, you see? And we understand and know, the time of 2030, that's when these elites want to have their NWO system already, established, so to speak, But we're in the season where this devil is beginning to fill his belly, The Lord is allowing him to make these certain moves, introducing, AI. That's why, knowledge has increased in these last days, and is ultimately all leading to Revelations, the 13th chapter and the 16th verse, where that charagma, that chip, that micro C-hip is going to be implemented, and you're not going to be able to continue or either buy or sell in this society if you don't have that device physically inside your body. You see, this is where this is leading to. You see, but Jake, of course, at the job, they don't understand these things. You see, but that's why, we say the water Yahweh Shemal Washah, for giving us the understanding of these things. Because this is all Bible prophecy. It says last year, Business Insider tracked layoffs at around 65 major companies such as Amazon, Meta, Paramount, and Starbucks. In 2026, we'll continue to track additional job cuts based on company and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, you get the point, So, everything is moving according, to prophecy, you see. So let's get into these scriptures. I'm going to close out. This is Isaiah 19:14. It says, the Lord, Yahweh Shemal Washah, have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt. You see, and we understand that we're in modern day Egypt, aka America. This place is known as spiritual Sodom in Egypt, according to the scriptures, you see. So just like how the Lord had it to where it was no work for Egypt, ancient Egypt, well, now we're in a time where there's not going to be any work in the modern day Egypt, you see. It's not going to be no getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work like you regular Americans. And then I was just, as I was, on the plantation, yesterday morning, I was in these well-off Edomite neighborhoods, delivering stuff. And you could just see they got the same routine. Get up, go to work. And half of these Edomites don't wake up till probably like 12 o'clock anyways, But it's just, you just see their regular routine. Get some Chick-fil-A, you know what I'm saying? Get a coffee and a damn egg and bagel, you know what I'm saying? And go straight to work. And it's just business as usual. Put a suit on, it's just business as usual. But the Lord is going to put an end to all that, even for Jake. Because you got Jakes out there, they got that got to get money mentality. Like money is going to save you out of these times, which is not, And, you're basically going to be without a job. And you people are going to lose your mind because you don't have a solution to these type of problems. These certain situations are going to catch you people as a thief. You see? You're not going to know what to do when you lose your job, when you get laid off. It's not you're going to have, uproars. You see? But that's when Esau's going to bring in that martial law, cut the lights out on you people, kill half of you. And then when everything get back up and running, he's going to present you with that microchip, that micro C-hip, And he's going to give you that as your solution. Mainly you Israelites. He's going to give you that solution, as if he's trying to help you. But really, he's trying to separate you from your power and control you. The 2 Corinthians 4, verse 17, it says, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment. So we're all going to be affected by these job losses, because AI is literally everywhere. You see? AI is literally everywhere. Hell, they using AI with even how we clocking in now. They switching that up at my job, But we're going to be affected by these things as well. We're going to lose jobs. houses, cars, whatever living situation is. All of this is, gonna be stripped away from all of us. Everybody, the playing fields is gonna be level, so to speak. But for us, this is a light affliction. We understand and know that this is a light affliction, and it's but for a moment, because as it is written, let's go here. The elect will understand and know exactly what to do when these times shall come. It's Isaiah 10 and verse 20. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, and who's the remnant of Israel? That's the elect. And such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. You see? So the elect is going to stay upon the Lord. The elect is going to trust upon the Lord. Like we often bring up, the Lord already has us in a position where, we're being trained to trust in him. You see? The Lord has allowed us, to gain that experience through certain situations, that we go through in our personal walk, and the Lord constantly delivers and comes through on our behalf, when we need him to, but that's building up that trust, that's building up that experience with our power, you see? So when it's time to fully and physically separate from this place, this system, and literally go off of the grid, it's not going to be a hard thing to do, because we have a solution to all of this madness, and it's Yahweh Shema Shah. You see? See, 2/3 Jake, they think that America's the end all be all. They think that this system is going to continue forever. They don't see a way of miracles happening in these last days. They don't see, the Lord stepping in on, our behalf when there's literally no food, no water, nowhere to lay your head at. You can't go to the mall and buy some new clothes. You can't go online, and buy, a new pair of J's. You're not going to be able to do that, you see? But the Lord, has all of that already taken care of. You see? The Lord already has, provisions already made for the elect. Because in these times, it's not written for no reason. The Lord should have, our enemies be at peace with us, when our ways please him, roughly paraphrasing. Because, during the time of a famine, yeah, you can have Edomites, they storing up all these goods, in these different mansions. They living in these high-end neighborhoods, but who's to say the Lord can't put the spirit on them to look out for us, you see? Or an angel, come down to protect, and feed us, or whatever, Just like Habakkuk being teleported by the angel, to Daniel when Daniel was in the lion's den. Things like that aren't just written for no reason. That's why Lord told us to look at the generations of old and see did ever any trust in the Lord and was forsaken or confounded. Absolutely not, you see? But this is what the elect would do in these last days. They would no longer stay upon Esau, Edom that smote us, because that's who's smiting us with the stroke of oppression, but we'll stay upon Yahweh Shema Shah, in truth, because, the Lord has our best interests at heart, you see? Back in that 2 Corinthians 4:17, it says, for our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. You see, so these things are going to ultimately work out on the behalf of the elect, you know, with these blackouts, these plagues that's been sent, you know, these job cuts, all of these things are working in favor upon the elect. It says, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen, you see? For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. See? So the things that's seen is just temporary. Your job on this side is already written that it's temporary. Meaning you weren't meant to make $30 an hour forever. You weren't meant to make $50 an hour forever. $20 an hour, $10 an hour, whatever. You weren't meant to work here in America forever. Point blank, period. These things on this side is temporary. And all of these things is going to be destroyed any fucking way. Especially on the soils of America, you know? So it makes no sense to put your stock into this place, you see? That's why we look at the things which are not seen, and those are the things concerning the kingdom of heaven. You see, we look on, we look for, you know, a new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. You see, so yeah, we're gonna experience, you know, more job cuts coming soon. You know, but it's okay because guess what? Hey, that just puts, you know, us in a better position. You know, so Yahweh Shema Shai could show us power and work in the earth. But Lord willing, that was edifying. I would like to give our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the man who taught me this truth. Peace and blessings be to the hopeful elect, your men, women, and little ones that believe on the words of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.